Hello everyone. Welcome back to the session of English. In this session we are going to begin a new topic, that is prepositional phrases. This is very important and interesting topic related to prepositions. We have already learned preposition in our earlier session. Also we learned phrasal verbs. This is slightly different from that chapter. This is part 1 of prepositional phrases. In this session, we are going to discuss meaning of prepositional phrases, also usage of different prepositional phrases in sentences. So let's discuss the meaning of prepositionals first. So prepositional phrases refers to here it is a prepositional phrase is a combination of verb and preposition. Now what we have in a prepositional phrase, we have a verb which is combined with a preposition, or you can say we have a verb which is followed by a preposition. And whenever we use different prepositions with the same verb, the meaning or the usage of that particular verb changes, but not the meaning at all. But in case of phrasal verb, we have already learned that the meaning of the verb also changes with, or it is different from its individual meaning. For example, suppose I take a verb that is talk. Now, talk means to make a conversation with someone. Suppose we have a verb talk and we use a preposition that is with the verb talk. So here I'm using a preposition with, that is a preposition with the verb that is talk. So talk with. Now another prepositional phrase can be talk to. So again I'm using the same verb, the meaning will remain same, but the preposition will be different, that is to. Now let us see the usage of these two phrasal, or you can say prepositional phrases. Talk with. Now whenever I talk casually with anyone, for example I'm talking with you, I'm talking with my friend, I'm talking with my neighbors, I'm talking with anyone, it means a person, I'm talking with anyone. This is general talk, so I use talk with. For example, I'm talking with my friends, so this is a general activity which we are doing, we are talking in general. But talk to is used when we talk to someone for some purpose, or we talk to someone purposely, or you can say intentionally, or for some purpose. For example, the prime minister will talk to the citizens of India today. So talk to is just, it is not a general talk, it is a talk for some purpose. So there we use talk to, and talk with is used when we talk in a general sense with someone. So there is a difference of the usage of these two phrases. The meaning of this verb that is talk will remain same, but the usage will be different according to the prepositions used. So this is called prepositional phrase, in which it is not like an idiom or phrase, it is just a phrase. There is a verb which is followed by a preposition, which is not a complete sentence, but in that case it requires an object, it has some meaning, or it will change the use of that particular phrase according to the change of the preposition, or it will change the usage according to the preposition and verb used in a sentence. Now what happened in phrasal verbs? In case of phrasal verbs, we have a verb which is followed by a preposition, but in that case it behaved like an idiom or phrase, and what happened to it, that the meaning of the verb also changes individually, or it is different from its individual meaning. For example, if I say put down, now this is written put down. Now if I see this word carefully, that it is written put over here, so put is just to keep something. But if I say that what is the meaning of put down, obviously it means to write down something, to write down something. Now this to write down something or to note down something, does it match with the proper meaning or with the individual meaning of put? No, not at all. The meaning of put is different, the meaning of writing is different, but it is the same when we use put down. It is behaving like a phrase, behaving like an idiom in which the meaning is different from the individual meaning of that particular verb. So put down meaning to write down something. So this put down is actually a phrasal verb, whereas this talk with, in, talk to, these are prepositional phrases, because in this these are the combinations of verb and preposition, but in this case the meaning of verb remains same, and the meaning the use of preposition is different, or the use of this phrase is different according to the prepositions used. So this is verb preposition, in which use of verb changes according to change in the preposition used, though meaning of verb remains same. It is also called verb preposition phrase. So these are also called verb preposition phrases. So in this session, we are going to discuss some prepositional phrases. So now let's begin with some uses of these prepositional phrases, or the meanings of these prepositional phrases and their usage in the sentence. First one is abound in and abound with. So we have a verb that is abound. Now we can use either the preposition in or with it. So the meaning will remain same of the word abound, that is a verb, but the usage of that particular word will be different according to the prepositions used. Now let us see. If there is a word, there is a phrase that is abound in, so it is when something is contained of something which is rich in. It means which contains a plenty of something, and abound with means full of something. Now let us see some examples to make this clear. Himachal Pradesh abounds in water resources. It means Himachal Pradesh contains many water resources. It means there are various resources of water which are available in Himachal Pradesh. So it is abounds in, it means it is rich in water resources. Abound with, the jungle is abound with streams. It means that this jungle is full of streams. It means there are many streams in this jungle. So we can use these two phrases as these we have used in these sentences. Now let us move to the next one. First one is admit to, and the other one is admit of. Now admit to, when we get admission somewhere. For example, we are admitted to hospital, we are admitted to schools or anywhere. Admit of, when we have a scope for something, when we allow something. For example, Himesh was admitted to the school on merit. So when Himesh was admitted to school, it was just on merit. So here, because the admission has been taking place, so admitted to is used or has been used. Now in the other sentence, your crime does not admit of any excuse. It means that your crime is not that much simple that is liable to or admit of any excuse, that any excuse can be given to that, or any excuse can be the substitute for that. Now let us move to the next one. Alight on, and another one is alight from. So we can use a term alight, we can use on preposition with it, and we can use from with it. So alight on means when we notice something. Alight from means when we step down from a bus, bike or any vehicle. For example, his eyes alighted on a girl who was crying in the temple. Alighted on means he noticed it, or his eyes stuck to that particular girl who was crying. When he alighted from the bike, now when he stepped down from the bike, he was welcomed with open arms. So this is also somewhere like, you can say, phrasal verb. Now let us move to the next one. Annoy with or annoy at. Now we know well that annoy means to get angry. And when we use this term, that is annoy with, so it is to be slightly angry with a person. So when I use annoy with, it means I'm angry with a person. But if I say annoy at, it means we are angry with some action, or we are angry because of some action. For example, Noddy was annoyed with his friends. So Noddy He's a person, and he's annoyed with his friends. So these are also persons. So this is written annoyed with on account of their misbehavior. Now, Suhani was annoyed at the misbehavior of her friends. Now, your misbehavior is a verb, or you can say it is just an action. You can also not say that this is actually a noun, but it is actually an action which has been shown. Therefore, add the misbehavior. So misbehavior, though it is a noun, but it is an action, or it is an act that has been made. So Suhani was annoyed at the misbehavior. Now, yeah, we are not talking about the person, but here we are talking about an act. So annoyed at the misbehavior of her friends. Now let us move to the next one. Amuse at or amuse with. So amuse at means when we mock at someone, when we laugh at someone. Amuse with, when we enjoy with some people, or when we laugh with some people. For example, we were all amused at her stories of ghosts. It means we were just happy, we were just enjoying at the stories, or enjoying the stories. And when we say they amused themselves with the playing games, so this is amused with, because they just enjoyed playing games. So this is the difference between amuse at and amuse with. Now let us move to the next one. Answer to or answer for. Answer to a person. Basically, we answer to a person. For example, if I'm asking you a question, you will answer to me. But if I say answer for, it means I'm giving an explanation for something. So answer to is to for a person, or answer for, that means to explain something, account for. For example, what will you answer to your mother? It means if your mother asks this, what will you answer to her? You will have to answer for your mistakes. It means you have to give explanation for the mistakes you have made. So this is the difference between answer to and answer for. Now let us move to the next one. Antipathy to or antipathy against. Now antipathy to means a strong feeling of not liking someone or something. Whereas antipathy against means antipathy against is against a person. It means when we do not like, or when we do not like a person. For example, I have a great antipathy to women who discriminates among daughters and daughters-in-law. The another sentence is we should not have antipathy against the poor. So against the poor is a person. So this is antipathy against the person, that is poor. I have a great antipathy to women. What kind of women? Who discriminates among daughters and daughters-in-law. So antipathy, when we have a strong feeling of not liking. So obviously I do not like these things. That is why antipathy to has been used. Now let us move to the next one. Affiliated to or affiliated with. So affiliated to a university or board. You must have heard that while you were in a schools, or when you were in a schools, you must have heard that your school is affiliated to this board, to that board, to CBSE board, to ICC board, to ISC board, or to various boards, various state boards. And affiliated with means when someone is associated with a party. For example, the politicians are associated with various parties like BJP, AAP, Congress, etc., etc. For example, my school was affiliated to the ICSE board. So because it was affiliated to a board, so it is written affiliated to. Rohan will remain affiliated with the firm as a special associate director. Now in this we can see that Rohan will remain affiliated with the firm. It means he will remain in the firm only as a special associate director. Now let us move to the next one. Attend to, that is pay attention to, or attend upon, that is serve or wait upon. Now if I see the sentence, he did not attend to what his father advised him to do. It means whatever his father advised him, he did not pay attention to it. Now, if I say attend upon, it means to serve something, to wait upon something. For example, Gulshan had no servant to attend upon him in old age home. So there was no one to attend upon him. Now let us move to the next one. Antidote to or antidote against. So antidote to refers to something that counteracts the effect of poison. An antidote against, that is a cure for. There is no effective antidote to poison, and quinine is an effective antidote against malaria because it can cure malaria. Now let us move to the next one. Now agree with, agree on, or agree to. Now when we agree with a person, it is agree with. When we agree on a point or agree on a condition, for example, I'll agree with you on this term or on this condition. So that is on a point, so we use agree on. And when we use agree to, it means when we want to do something and we agree to do that particular thing. So basically, after agree to, we use verb or first form of the main verb. Now let us see the sentences. I did not agree with my friend in that matter. It means there was some matter in which the opinion of me and my friend were different, therefore I did not agree with her. So I did not agree with my friend in that matter. So it is written a friend, that is a person, so we are using the word agree with. She has agreed to provide you the details about this project. Now agree to, now she has agreed for what? To provide. So this is infinitive, that is, you can say to with first form. So this is actually the infinitive. Now let us move to the next one. After much discussion, they agreed on the terms of partnership. It means after so much discussion, they agreed for the terms of partnership, on the terms of partnership. So they agreed just because of the terms of the partnership. Now let us move to the next one. Blind in and blind to. So blind in refers to be unable to see from, when we are not able to see something. Blind to, it means when we ignore something. For example, he is blind in right eye and needs major surgery. It means his right eye is not working properly, or his right eye is not fine. It is either destroyed or damaged, or you can say it is not working. We should not be blind to the fault of our siblings and children. So we should not ignore the faults of our siblings and children. So this is blind to. We should not be blind to crime. We should not be blind to many bad things happening day by day. Now let us move to the next one. Cure of and cure for. So cure of is used when we're rid of something, and cure for, treatment. He's cured of his illness after a long treatment. So he just got rid of his illness. It means he's fine now. There is no cure for some diseases yet. Now there are many diseases that are not curable nowadays as well. So there is no treatment for some diseases yet. So cure for is different from cure of. Now let us move to the next one. Compete with or compete for. So when we compete with, it means we are competing with a person. But when we compete for, it means when we are competing for a thing. For example, if I say there is a team, and in that particular team, A is competing with B. So because they are opposites, because they are opposition, or because they are on opposite sides, they are competing with each other. But if I say they are competing for example, if we see, for example, there is a badminton court. You can see a net is there, and a person is here and a person is here. They both are playing. So they are, this is A and this is B. They are competing with each other. So they are competing with each other, or I can say that A is competing with B. So this is competing with, but they are competing for a chocolate, let's say. So they are competing for a chocolate. That means whoever wins will get a chocolate. So these A and B, these are competing for the chocolate because they want the chocolate. They want to win the chocolate. So this is, they are competing for the chocolate. Similarly, here you can see the examples. He used to compete with Garima for the first position in college. It means Garima and other person, that is he, they were competitors, and the teams are competing for the World Cup. Now you can say that suppose there is a series going on, or a World Cup series going on. So various teams, they just compete with one another. But what are they competing for? They are competing for the World Cup. So World Cup is the thing which they are competing for, and they are competing with one another. So let us move to the next one now. Conformity with and conformity to. Conformity is used to show the agreement or when we are in agreement with someone. Conformity to, it means according to someone. For example, I acted in conformity with the opinion of the majority. So conformity with refers to when I worked according to the opinion of the majority. It means whatever the majority says. Shipra did that in conformity to the traditions of the family. So Shipra did that according to the traditions of the family, because there are various traditions where there are various styles of doing something. There are various rituals, there are various customs which a family follows. Now let us move to the next one. Enrage at and enrage with. Now again, enrage refers to anger. So enrage at means when to get angry at an act, but enrage with to get angry at a person. For example, Meera was enraged at her husband's stealing habit. It means her husband is maybe suffering from kleptomania, or he is in habit of stealing various things. So Meera was angry at. So she was just fed up of all of that. The teacher was enraged with the student for his carelessness. So this is an act, and this is a person whom this teacher is angry with, because she is angry with the student. So here I wrote the person, whereas here I wrote the act. Now let us move to the next one. Exult over or exult at. Now exult over means to enjoy in a bad sense. It means when we enjoy something, but that is in a bad sense, or there is something negative. For example, the spectators exulted over the defeat of the team Sri Lanka. Now here we can see that the team Sri Lanka, it has been defeated, but the spectators, they are enjoying just because they just speculated for the defeat of the team Sri Lanka. So someone has been defeated and we are enjoying. So this is spectators exulted over. And exult at means when we enjoy something, and that is in positive sense. So the citizens exulted at the victory of Team India. Now let us move to the next one. Familiar to or familiar with. So familiar to, when something looks like that we know that particular thing. But familiar with, when we have a knowledge about something. So that is known as familiar with. For example, I'm quite familiar with the concepts of this chapter. So it means I have knowledge, I have a proper knowledge of this chapter. But if I say familiar to, it means when something looks alike, when something looks like something that we know. For example, her face is quite familiar to all of us. Now, there is a girl whose face looks like as we know her. So her face is quite familiar. Quite familiar means it seems that we know her well, or that we have seen her earlier as well. So this is quite familiar. She's not very familiar with the botanical names of plants. It means she does not have knowledge, or she has no knowledge of botanical names of the plants. Now let us move to the next one. False of and false to. So false of means when someone is dishonest, and false to means friends or principles. It means when we cheat our friends or principles. For example, he is not false of heart. Not false of heart, it means he's not dishonest. We should not be false to our friends. False to our friends, it means we should not cheat with our friends, or we should not speak false with our friends, or to our friends. Speak false or cheat to our friends. Now let us move to the next one. Now there is another, that is fascinated by or fascinated with. So fascinated by refers to when we are attracted towards something. Fascinated with, when we admire a person, when we like a person. For example, the children were fascinated by all the toys in the shop windows. It means whatever the shops, there were many toys in the display, and the toys and the children were fascinated by all of them. They were attracted by all of them. For example, if the children go in a fair or in a fete or in an exhibition, or we also, of course, when we go to an exhibition, or when we go to a clothes shop, we like every cloth, we like everything that we can see over there, if it is for the shopping purpose. So we are just fascinated by, we just get attracted towards them. You must have seen that children, they are attracted towards the balloons, so that is fascinated by. And fascinated with, it means when we like a person. For example, I was fascinated with her because of her admirable manners. So because she was very good at manners, so I was fascinated with her. It means I liked her very much. Now let us move to the next one. Grieve for, grieve over, grieve at. Now grieve is just to cry or to just be sad. Now, grieve for means to feel sorrow. Grieve over, it means to feel sorrow for a thing. And grieve at, for an event. For example, he grieved for the victims of the storm. So these are people. So he grieved, it means he felt sorrow for the victims, for the people. He grieved over the loss of money. Now, this is a thing that had happened, and property in floods. So, what is money and property? Because this has been lost, so grieved over for that. He grieved at his friend's sudden demise. So, because this that event took place, or that action took place, so he grieved at that because he became very sad just because of his friend's demise. Now let us move to the next one. Guard against or guard from. Guard against is used to be cautious against mistakes, temptations, etc. Whereas guard from is to protect from a danger of a thing, etc. For example, you should guard against the wrong use of words. It means you should be careful for the wrong use of words. It means you should be very careful while you are speaking, that you may not speak any false word or any wrong word, which is not ethical. You should guard from him because he is false of heart. It means you should protect yourself from him. So, guard from means to protect, and guard against means to be careful. So, to be careful of something. Now, let us move to the next one. Glance at and glance through. So, glance at, just take a quick look. It means you just go through that. And glance through, it means when you go through. So, he glanced at the recipe and started cooking. It means he just saw towards the recipe and started cooking. Take a quick look. And glance through, it means when you just go through it or just read it out. For example, he glanced through the notes of the chapters in hurry. So he just read all the notes in hurry. But glance at, just have a look towards it. So that is glance at. Now let us move to the next one. Hear from, hear of, or hear by. Now hear from refers to when we heard something from some person. For example, I have not heard from you for a long time. It means I have not heard, or I have not got any information from you. So you did not say, you have not said to me anything, you have not informed me for anything. So this is from a person. Hear of, it means when we hear of something. Now here we do not have a person, but we hear of something. So I have heard of an exhibition. So exhibition is actually a thing, not a person, which is going to be held in our society soon. And the next one is, I heard by a letter about his uncle's death. So whenever we use hereby, it means when we get the information or get the news from some post or through email or any mode of communication. For example, I heard by a letter about his uncle's death. It means I came to know about his uncle's death only after I have received the letter. So this information is given to me by this letter. Now let us move to the next one. Impress upon or impress with. So when we impress upon, it means we advise. And when we impress with, to gain admiration and respect. For example, the principal impressed upon the students the need of discipline. It means the principal advised the students to be in discipline. Whereas Ernie impressed everyone very much with her good manners. It means Ernie was very good at manners, that she impressed everyone over there. Now let us move to the next one. Inquire for or about. It means when we talk about, when we ask about some person. For example, he inquired for my mother, he inquired about my mother or my mother's health. Inquire after, when we welfare, when we ask after something, or when we look after someone, or when we take care of someone. And inquire of, just to ask of a person. For example, Akshay has just gone to inquire for the supply of rations. So to ask about something, that is to inquire for the supply of rations. I inquired after his father's health. It means I asked about his father's health. So when we are talking about health, we use ask after. When we talk about a thing, we use inquire for. And when we talk about a person, when we ask of a person, we use inquire of. For example, I inquired of him the name of his society. Interfere in, when someone comes in between. And interfere with, when someone disturbs or hinders something. One should not interfere in a couple's matter. It means one should not interfere in the argument or in between couples. Even a low level of noise interferes with her concentration. It means it can distract her concentration. Even a low level of noise. Now let us move to the next one. Influence with, influence over, or influence on. Influence with is used with a person. Influence over with the people. Person means singular and people means plural. And thing, when we have influence on something, a non-living thing, that will be influence on. So for a person we use influence with, for people, for many, we use influence over, and for particular thing we use influence on. For example, he has immense influence with the police. It means he is very much affected by the police. The PM has great influence over the people of tribal regions. Now we can see that the people in tribal region, they are very affected from the behavior of the prime minister. Corona had a great influence on the lifestyle of people. It means it had made a great influence on the lifestyle of people, or it affected the lifestyle of many people. Now let us move to the next one. Judge of or judge by. So judge of means to give opinion, and judge by, test by. She's a good judge of fabric. It means she has a proper knowledge of fabric, so she's a good judge of fabric. One should not be judged by one's appearance. So one should not be judged because of his appearance. Now let us move to the next one. Jump to or jump at. Now jump to a conclusion or jump at an offer. So whenever we have an offer, we jumped at it, and whenever we have to make a conclusion, we jump to it. For example, don't jump to conclusion without giving due consideration to the facts. And he jumped at the offer and was highly pleased. So he just availed the opportunity of that particular offer. So these were some prepositional phrases that we have read in this session. I hope you understood all of them. Thank you very much.